try that again. I'll do this one. So here I've got, this is my personal one. I've got sales notes, all kinds of different stuff. Another place we use this is like if you wanted to keep notes in a Teams channel. So as an example, under current opportunities, I've dropped a notebook here, and I've actually put it to the tab in Teams. So I can look, you know, I can keep organized on what I'm doing within that team. Any questions on OneNote?
Nothing in the chat right now.
Okay, so we're going to move on. Next thing I'm going to talk about is locations for sharing documents. So we saw how you can collaborate on OneNote. You saw how when Trevor typed, his typing appeared. This is true of all the applications within the Microsoft Office suite. So Word, Excel, they all support co-editing, and we're going to demonstrate that a little bit in a minute. But one of the things that's important when you're to be able to co-edit is to have the files stored either in OneNote or on SharePoint, and that will enable the co-editing. So or OneDrive, I mean OneDrive or SharePoint. So let me bring up my OneDrive. So this is OneDrive. OneDrive is your personal space out there. It lives in SharePoint, but it's your space. It doesn't belong to anyone else unless you share some content with somebody. You can either share a folder, you can share a whole folder, or you can share an individual file within that folder. So if I know I've got files I want to share, or even files that I want to be able to get to from anywhere, including my mobile phone, or you can there's actually a OneDrive client that you can load on your cell phone or tablet, and the OneDrive client allows you to access both OneDrive and SharePoint team shares. So the OneDrive client allows access to both of those. The other thing you can do with OneDrive and team shares is there's a sync button here, and if I were to click sync, it will actually sync those files locally to that computer that I click sync on. So in your File Explorer, they show up here. So here's a SharePoint site, here's a OneDrive site, here's another OneDrive site, and these files with the little green check means everything in that folder has been synced and it's current, and it goes both ways. But the master lives in up in OneDrive or SharePoint. So that's a way you can keep a local copy on multiple machines, and it will sync them down to every machine, and you can access it locally, whether you're attached or not. So if you were to, get on an airplane, which nobody's doing nowadays, and fly somewhere, you would still have local access to that file, and then when you reconnect to the internet, it would sync up any changes. Was that a question, Trevor?
No, that was an admission to the meeting.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that's how OneDrive works. Within OneDrive, you also have it also keeps versions of your document. So you can pull up a version history. So here's a previous version of that document. This one only has one previous version, and from that I can either open it or restore it. So let's find another one. Might have more versions. So this one has a few different versions, and I can restore, open file, or delete that version. So if I want to look at something, if I've made changes to that document, I want to revert to an older version, that lets me do it. So that's real convenient. Unlike, storing on your local computer or something. It gives you a little bit more advantages. And again, if I want to share it, I can come over here and I can either click the three dots and share. And from here, I can either just copy a link and email it, or I can, type in an email address here, add a message. Here it's going to default that anyone with this link can edit it. That means even people outside my organization. So if I were to send that to somebody and they were to forward it to someone else, then that other person also has access to this file. So if I want to limit that, I can drop that down and select just people within my organization, people with existing access, or specific people. So I can allow editing or not allow editing. Now, if I wanted to allow certain people editing and not others, I can actually go through this process twice, once for the people I want to allow editing, and then again for the people I don't. So I can enter multiple addresses here. All right. So SharePoint, let's go to SharePoint. In SharePoint, the documents are similar. Again, I have the sync button here, and I can do versioning, all the good stuff that I was able to do in OneDrive, because literally they're really the same. It's just that a SharePoint team library, or a team site, and a library within a team site is intended for multiple people to access, kind of like a G drive or something you might have on a shared file server. So this is actually intended to be managed and used by a team of people. So, and if you're not, I'm not, in another webinar, we'll dive more into SharePoint, not so much today. So that being said, let's go back over to our Teams client. And within Teams, I've got teams and channels, and we covered this last week, yeah, I think it was last week. So within any given channel, there's a file share, right? And as I mentioned last week, these files are back-ended in SharePoint. So all the advantages like co-editing, versioning, and stuff like that are available to me because these files are actually stored in SharePoint. So, for instance, Trevor, do you want to navigate to where do we put it? Internal projects, server consolidation.
No problem.
So here's a spreadsheet that we've created for managing our server consolidation project. It's got a list of all the servers and what the status is on them and what we're doing with them with notes. So when Trevor joins, we'll see him appear in this document. So one of the things to note is this is actually Excel within the team client. So I didn't actually launch Excel. It's letting me edit and manage the Excel document right from within Teams. Now you saw that I saw this TS appear up here in the corner that's telling me Trevor has joined this document. So I can see Trevor's in there editing with me, and this is actually where Trevor's editing. So he's typing a note next to that server, and I can see what he's typing. And if I were to type something, he would see that as well, and he would see my initials next to it. So this is this is pretty convenient because we can have two people on a call editing the same document at the same time, and we can see what their changes are. And this is true for Word as well. Okay. The other thing you can do, so all the Office apps can be open like this within Teams, within the Teams client. In this case, I had pegged I had pinned it up here to as a tab by using the plus sign here. So I can, this time I selected Excel, and then I went and picked my VM list, and that created the tab up here at the top. And then you can go ahead and rename it. So I'm going to remove that since I already have it there. But that's how you can pin it to the top and click on it, and then you're editing it within there. And that's true, like I said, of Word documents, any of the Office Suite documents, PowerPoint. So the other thing we can do, like from OneDrive or SharePoint, is I can open a document either from an app. So if I go to open, I can open in an app or a browser. So basically, all the Office apps are available in a browser. So if you're at a hotel working from a kiosk or something like that where they don't have Office installed, you still have access to pretty much all the functionality in the Office suite. So let me open up a document. So you can see I've got track changes enabled. I mean, you have pretty much all the stuff you would normally have within Word. There's a few things missing, but for the most part, most of your stuff is there. One nice thing is you can add comments to a line in Word. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but we can do a where's my new comment? So I can add a comment. Yeah. So the comment is actually like a thread where one person can type something and respond to it. So this is like a chat within the document. So we can actually discuss content within a Word document. So that was under the reviewing pane. Show comments, and then you can add comments in there. All right. That's pretty much what I have for today. Any questions?
Nothing in the chats as of yet. You are welcome, Heidi. Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Thanks, Gary.
All right.
Hey, this is Gary again, real quick. So, are these going to be held? Is it every Thursday at 1? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we're trying it out. 1 o'clock on Thursdays. We've been doing
Okay.